guys, and welcome to Jurassic Room. So, I've been working for the past week on a ton of scripts, as y'all know from my reaction. I actually got a bunch of reactions I'm going to try and do today with the girls. They ended up getting sick, and it's just been a pretty busy week getting stuff done. But I do have one video I'm going to get out, at least today. Also, yesterday was Valentine's Day, so that was fun. Hi, Nira. She's looking at me now because, yeah, she's probably ready to be fed. But anyway, I wanted to cover everything, and I am going to cover more stuff in the Jurassic chats that cover 2022, 2023, and 2024. But in this video, I want to talk about everything that has gone on with Jurassic World Rebirth, its entire production up until the trailer release. So I got my trusty script here, and I'm going to read this out. So to start this video off, we do have the confirmed cast being Scarlett Johansson as Zora Bennett, Jonathan Bailey as Dr. Henry Loomis, Mahershala Ali as Duncan Kincaid, Philippine Velge, and I apologize if I'm butchering this name, Rupert Friend as Martin Krebs, Ed Skrein, Manuel Garcia Rufo as Ruben Delgado, Luna Blaze, David Licano, Audrina Miranda, and Bashir Sylvain. The movie is directed by Gareth Edwards of Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, The Creator, Monsters, and Godzilla 2014. The script is being written by David Koepp, who also, of course, did Jurassic Park and The Lost World. Cinematography is being handled by John Matheson, and the film is produced by Frank Marshall, Jim Spencer, Winston Essapardi, who acts as a line producer, as I've written down here, and Patrick Crowley. Executive producers include Janine Motter, Steven Spielberg, and Dennis L. Stewart. Steve Brazzotti also returns as the paleontological expert, who also handled the previous Jurassic World films. Production design is handled by James Klein, and it is yet to be announced who the composer for the film will be. However, rumors circulate of Michael Giacchino or Brian Tyler. As well, filming took place in the state of New York, Thailand, and Malta. From an early plot synopsis, we learned that it's going to be a collection mission to find DNA from the largest creatures of land, sea, and air, and the team finds a shipwrecked family, which explains everything from the trailer. And based on the recently released trailer, we know that the so far confirmed dinosaurs that will be in the film will be Tyrannosaurus, Velociraptor, Quetzalcoatlus, Spinosaurus, Parasaurolophus, Mosasaurus, Titanosaurus, Dilophosaurus, and the new mutant dinosaur known simply thus far as the D-Rex. And the release date is set for July 2nd, 2025. Most set reveals include ships on the water, possibly being attacked since we see the massive blue screens, swamps where we also get to see the first confirmed dinosaur of the film, a Parasaurolophus carcass. We get to see a lot of long grass scenes, some South American ports, and restaurants, which includes a Megjaw in one of the bars. As well as some InGen compounds which look to be defunct, and some Aztec ruins which really kind of coincided with the idea of civilizations inhabiting the islands long before InGen came into place. And we get to revisit Malta as well. In terms of the production timeline, it was really sudden in the way that we kind of got a little bit of time after Dominion, and this kind of just got thrown on us that this was going to be coming out in less than a year and a half. However, it seemed that there was some time for Universal to get this thing up and running. The film was announced January 22nd, 2024, with a release set for July 2025. The film was supposedly in talks during Dominion's production, with David Koepp returning to write. Koepp would continue to state that he modeled the story with 9 new commandments for the franchise going forward, inspired by animator Chuck Jones for the Roadrunner skits, which include all events from the previous 6 films cannot be contradicted or denied, humor is oxygen, and science must be real. Along with Koepp, previous film paleontology consultant Steve Brazzotti returned for the accuracy of the movie.
There's going to be some of the old dinosaurs, there'll be some new dinosaurs, some pretty interesting new ones. There's going to be a whole kind of new set of actors in the next film. Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, Sam Neill, Bryce Howard, Chris Pratt, all those veterans, their time is gone. Maybe they'll come back with Jurassic World 20.
February 20th, 2024, it was confirmed Gareth Edwards would direct, beating out rumors of David Leitch. Throughout the year, mostly from July to October, filming would take place in Malta, New York, Thailand, and Pinewood Studios. In March of 2024, it was revealed that Scarlett Johansson was being sought for the leading role, which was later confirmed, and following her casting, she would be joined by Jonathan Bailey, Mahershala Ali, Bashir Sylvain, Luna Blaze, Rupert Friend, David Licano, Audrina Miranda, Philippine Velge, Ed Skrein, and Manuel Garcia Rufo. And before I continue, I actually, in my upcoming Jurassic chats, have a much better timeline as to when all of the actors were recruited, so stay tuned for those videos, because I think they're going to be pretty interesting in terms of all the analoging I had to do. Sorry, my eye's been twitching really bad lately. Along with the new characters, rumors swirled of speculated dinosaurs including Tyrannosaurus, Raptors, Spinosaurus, a Mosasaur, Quetzalcoatlus, and Titanosaurus, along with a new mutant dinosaur known as the D-Rex. After months of waiting and the new confirmation of the trailer hitting on the Super Bowl, the official trailer dropped Wednesday, February 5th at 7 AM EST. The trailer starts with us meeting Scarlett Johansson's Zora Bennett and Rupert Friend's character meeting and recruiting Jonathan Bailey's Dr. Henry Loomis as a dinosaur exhibit at his museum is being decommissioned. We then cut to a South American village where Zora enlists the help of Mahershala Ali's character Duncan Kincaid to act as a guide and security to an isolated island to gather DNA from the 3 largest creatures in order to create a cure for heart disease. But let's be honest, we know that pharmaceutical companies are not that nice, so there's gotta be some ulterior motives here. As we can gather, the 3 species are to include Titanosaurus, Quetzalcoatlus, and a Mosasaur. The team preps up and heads to the new island where we first see the new Titanosaurs, which somewhat resemble the male Brachiosaurs from Jurassic Park 3, but with long whip-like tails and fins on their necks and tails that kind of resemble a basilisk lizard. We also see a new lab that Zora states is the original research facility of the old Jurassic Park. With this we see odd embryos and a contained velociraptor that looks like a blend of a tiger stripe male and the JP3 Highland female. And after watching a few times, it does look like this is actually a 2-headed raptor, which I don't know so much in birds or dinosaurs, but this is actually a very common mutation we see in reptiles especially. We see a lot of 2-headed turtles, 2-headed snakes, sometimes 2-headed lizards. So a 2-headed raptor is not out of the range of possibility, but it does give us an idea of what kind of experiments were going on at this new island. The equipment is also rather odd, not quite looking like 90s engine tech, but much more in resemblance to Biosyn tech. Or, as I also stated in my reaction to the trailer, it looks a lot like Weyland-Yutani tech, if you had that crossover. We then cut to Zora, Loomis, and Bashir Sylvain's character attempting to gather DNA from a Quetzalcoatlus nest inhabiting some ancient ruins set on a sheer cliffside. Soon after, one of the parents returns and attacks them, and Loomis is dragged out of the cave by a rope tangled around his leg, but is saved by Zora. The Quetzals have a radically new design compared to their more scientifically accurate Dominion counterparts, sporting a gray and blue coloration and a wider beak with a sharp crest. However, they do seem to have the same vocalizations. After a statement by Loomis that the animals on this island were too dangerous for the old park, we see a new velociraptor in the appearance of the rumored mutant dinosaur that towers over and stalks the group. We then get some action scenes of vehicles driving and Zora shooting, as well as the new Dilophosaurus and Tyrannosaurus, which leads to the River Cruise inspired scene and another close-up of the mutant dino. After this, we see a group of 3 Spinosaurus hunting the group on a boat alongside a Mosasaur. And to note, the Spinos are much more scientifically accurate with their sails and have a more Komodo dragon-like skin. The Mosasaur lacks the crocodile-like appearance of Jurassic World's Mosasaur, instead having a smoother skin, a larger tail fluke, along with a brown and tan coloration with a white underbelly. The creatures attack the boat, nearly killing the young girl and Philippine Velge's character as Zora shoots at them. The Mosasaur then breaches next to the boat as the title card ends the trailer. And like I said, I had some reservations when I first watched the trailer, as I want to kind of talk about it here before I get on to the Vanity Fair article here that talked more about the film. I've grown to like the trailer more. I've grown to really like the D-Rex a lot more, and what it's inspired by. And the whole idea of the trailer has gotten me a lot more interested. I've watched a lot more fan theories that I really didn't consider before, especially like the D-Rex possibly having more frog DNA in a botched experiment like that, because, you know, extra limbs is a very common mutation in some frogs. But I'm really starting to grow on this trailer. The only part I still don't like is the... Something fell on me. Oh. Sorry, Monolithosaurus. I touched Monolithosaurus. The only thing I really still don't care for is the Spino Mosasaurus pack hunting. It's just something that doesn't make a lot of sense to me unless this Mosasaur is confusing these Spinos for its friends. I just don't really care for this. It doesn't seem like a fathomable symbiotic relationship in nature, especially when we kind of, maybe this Mosasaur has a different taste, because I mean, in Jurassic World we see it does eat people, it does eat pterosaurs, but it seems to, when it's in the wild, it doesn't even hunt whales, it hunts sharks, which is still a very odd thing for me. Still don't know about that decision from Dominion. But anyway, to go on, it does also feel kind of, I do like the Spino's new design. I do like it. It's grown on me, even though it does feel kind of generic, and I hate to say that because I love Spinosaurus. But I feel like this design could have just as easily almost fit in with Walking with Dinosaurs, which, if you don't know, they're having the continuation of Walking with Dinosaurs coming out this year, and one of the episodes is going to be about Spinosaurus. And I feel like this could have just as easily went into a Walking with Dinosaurs episode over Jurassic Park. And in a way, kind of feels like Spinosaurus is just the redheaded bastard stepchild of the Jurassic Park universe. And the only time we're ever going to get some justice for that JP3 design is Camp Cretaceous Season 4 and 5. Which is not much of a pinnacle in the series so far. But anyway, I will concede that maybe these are Generation 1 animals, or just newer animals created by this new pharmaceutical company, if this rumor turns out to be true. I've just heard tons of rumors, and I'm willing to give it a chance to see how it goes. Although, rip JP3 Ultra Spino Boy. We're getting on with this Vanity Fair exclusive article. Jurassic World Rebirth goes for the jugular. There's a bit of everything that's scary. Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey reveal how the latest film in the blockbuster series brings new terror thanks to experiments gone awry. By Anthony Dresnikin, February 4th, 2025, a Vanity Fair exclusive. If I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear. So raged the creature in Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein. Which, on a side note, I actually just read Frankenstein all the way through. I don't love it as much as the Dracula novel by Bram Stoker. It's a decent novel, but the problem with Frankenstein, the book, it's like 50% talking about scenery, 30% talking about how miserable everyone is, and like 20% the story of Frankenstein that we know from the movies. Not a bad book, but in a way, I did grow to hate Frankenstein because he starts to just, he's so smart and be so stupid. There's a lot of just flawed moments in that novel that he could have just avoided altogether. But anyway, but that line also now applies to one of the classical resurrection stories' modern descendants, Jurassic Park. In the latest film in the colossal blockbuster franchise, Jurassic World Rebirth, inhabitants of that world are not unlike moviegoers today. People have seen dinosaurs a lot over the years. They've seen them revive from extinction, they've seen them get loose and run amok, they've seen them so often that awe has been replaced by a shrug. Dinosaurs no longer inspire love. So producer Frank Marshall and Steven Spielberg, who astonished audiences with the groundbreaking visual effects of the 1993 original, felt that Rebirth should lean into causing fear. After completing the two trilogies of films, which collectively generated billions of dollars at the global box office, they believed a seventh film would have to escalate the risk to new levels. I've always said that visual effects are great, CGI is a great tool, but it makes you lazy, because you know you can do anything. Marshall tells Vanity Fair for this exclusive early look. It's got to be dangerous.
Let's get dangerous.
That became the mission of Rebirth. You're in a new place, you don't know what's around the corner, you've got a different jungle, you've got more water, you've got higher cliffs, Marshall says. There's a little bit of everything that's scary. Add to that a new array of creatures literally engineered to trigger fight or flight. The story follows members of a recovery team led by Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey as they venture to an island near the equator that was once home to the first Jurassic Park's research lab. The squad is trying to retrieve genetic material that could lead to a medical breakthrough for humanity. But 3 decades later, the mistakes made at that ruined facility have not gone away. They've endured and only grown bigger. These are the dinosaurs that didn't work. There's some mutations in there. Marshall says they're all based on real dinosaur research, but they look a little different. Imagine the nightmare version of the giant lizards that evolved naturally millions of years ago. Rebirth director Gareth Edwards, best known for the 2016 Star Wars tale Rogue One and 2023's AI dystopia The Creator, drew upon classics that have curdled blood for generations. When you make a creature, you get a big massive pot and you pour in your favorite monsters from other films and books, he says. A filmmaker's beastly bona fides are already well established. He made his breakthrough with 2010's Monsters, about invasive alien titans that fall to Earth, and followed that up by tackling the granddaddy of the globe, threatening kaiju with 2014's Godzilla. Adding to his Rebirth dinosaur inspirations were a few other favorites: the skeletal xenomorph from Alien, the dungeon behemoth from Return of the Jedi, and the original Big Bad from Spielberg's first Jurassic Park movie. Those references turn up all in one particular twisted dinosaur that turns up in the trailer coming Wednesday. Some Rancor went in there, some H.R. Geiger went in there, a little T-Rex went in there, Edwards says. The thing that scared Edwards the most was living up to Rebirth's predecessors, which he feels has been disguised as family-friendly fare over the years. Jurassic Park is a horror film in the Witness Protection Program. Edwards adds, most people don't think of it like that. We all want to see it as kids, but I was scared shitless, to be honest, when I was at the cinema watching the T-Rex attack. It's one of the most well-directed scenes in cinema history, so the bar's really high to come on board and try and do this. Screenwriter David Koepp, Death Becomes Her in 2002's Spider-Man, who adapted the late Michael Crichton's 1990 novel for the first movie, has gone back to the original source material to pull out a scene for the new movie that he always had hoped to use. Marshall has revealed that it's a sequence in which Dr. Grant and the two children, who are not characters in this new movie, attempt to drift through a lagoon in a rubber raft without waking a slumbering Tyrannosaurus Rex. They don't succeed and end up paddling for their lives. The Tyrannosaur was now chest deep in the water, but it could hold its head high above the surface, Crichton wrote. Then Grant realized the animal wasn't swimming, it was walking, because moments later, only the very top of the head, the eyes and nostrils protruded above the surface. By then it looked like a crocodile, and it swam like a crocodile, swinging its tail back and forth so the water churned behind it. The final ingredient for the new film's terror factor, Edwards says, is supplied by the audience. The enduring, instinctual fear of being chased and devoured. There's something very primal that's buried deep inside everybody, he says. As mammals, we evolved with this fear of the bigger animal that's going to come in one day and maybe kill us or our family. The second we see it happening on screen, you're like, I knew it. We had it too good for too long. Complacency was the biggest risk for early humans. Marshall credits Koepp, who returns for the first time since 1997's sequel The Lost World, for introducing the notion of rebirth. He came up with this idea that dinosaurs were passé now. People were tired of them. They were an inconvenience, Marshall says. People aren't going to the museums to see them or to petting zoos. They were just in the way, and the climate was not conducive to their survival. So they were starting to pass away and get sick. But there was one area around the equator that they had the perfect climate and temperature and environment for them. Now this part I kind of want to interrupt here for a second. Temperature? Maybe some of them, but I mean, we're gonna act like we do not see any of these dinosaurs in like snowy terrain in the past at least 8 years of canon between Jurassic World and Dominion. I mean, Blue is straight up just running around hunting wolves in the snow. So, and Biosin Valley doesn't look like a, sorry, my eyes still tripping. Doesn't look like a typical like subtropic environment that all these dinosaurs seem to be doing completely okay in. That leads to a shot in Rebirth that involves an iconic image from the first Jurassic Park, when T-Rex rips through the visitor center, battles some velociraptors, and roars as it topples a streaming sign that reads, "When dinosaurs ruled the earth." In the new film, a similar image appears in the opening, but in a less majestic way. Well, the banner's coming down, Marshall says. Jonathan Bailey's a scientist at a museum that's closing their dinosaur exhibit. Those who turn their backs on dinosaurs will live to regret it, though probably not for long. Monster movies are only frightening if audiences care about the people in peril. Jurassic World Rebirth serves up a trio of central characters played by Johansson, Ali, and Bailey, who have a genuinely altruistic mission and skills that might help them survive long enough to complete it. A company that Rupert Friend's character represents discovers a new way to cure heart disease, Marshall says. But you need the DNA from the three largest dinosaurs on land, sea, and air. Those three dinosaurs exist on this island where they were first created, but it's a no-go zone. Johansson leads the quest as Zora Bennett, the leader of the team doing the recovery. She's a special operative. She was in the armed forces for the entirety of her career. She probably worked for a private contractor for some time, and now she's working for herself, Johansson says. The actor has wanted to face down dinosaurs ever since she was a child, and became obsessed with the first film. And I slept in a Jurassic Park pup tent in my room I shared with my sister for a year. She says, anytime the trades would report a new Jurassic movie, I would forward to my agents like, hey, I'm available. The closest Johansson came was in 2020 when her work on reshoots for a Marvel movie took place on a British soundstage neighboring that of Jurassic World Dominion. I was actually shooting Black Widow at Pinewood. At the same time, I was like, show me the sets. I want to participate. Only later, when she had a general meeting with Spielberg to go over possible future projects, did her dinosaur dream come true. I hadn't really sat with him and talked about work, and we spent hours just catching up and chatting. And then at some point, many hours into it, he was like, wait, we're supposed to talk about Jurassic. Do I hear you're a huge superfan? I said, it is actually true. I'm confirming I'm a huge superfan. She didn't tell him about the tent. I was like, he's going to think I'm this weird stalker. Now, she regrets that. Johansson has had a lot of good memories of little girls dressed as Natasha Romanoff. Obviously, with the Avengers stuff, you meet so many fans who are profoundly wowed by the characters in the world that you're a part of. She says, I get it. It's always wonderful to meet people like that. I probably should have just told him, but I was like, just be professional, don't seem desperate, don't mention the tent. About a month after that, Johansson had kept script, and was proposing her own touches for the character. I just wanted to understand that the stakes were for her, and that she wasn't just driven by money or power. You wanted it to feel personal for her, she says. You have to love the characters, and you want to root for them. The movie can't just stand on the dinosaurs alone. Zora evolved to be less of a mercenary. She's someone who's dedicated herself to saving other people, and I think she's at a professional crossroads. I think she's burnt out, Johansson says. If all goes well, this can be the job that allows the character to retire from danger zones. Of course, everything goes wrong, but that's the fun part, she says. As it charts a new course for the franchise, Jurassic World Rebirth also promises some of the other callbacks to the original Jurassic Park. Bailey hints that his paleontologist Dr. Henry Loomis has history with Sam Neill's intrepid character. I've always wanted to make Dr. Alan Grant proud, the actor says. You'll have to wait and see what sort of link is between them. His professorial hero is a contrast to Bailey's recent breakthrough role as Fiyero in Wicked, a less than intellectual character who scoffs at the library and kicks books aside in his signature song, Dancing Through Life. Dr. Loomis would be aghast, Bailey says. His Rebirth character reinforces big, cerebral, and emotional arguments about the natural world and how we as humans live our lives. Unlike the others, he's not combat ready, which places him at an extra risk on the island of misfit dinosaurs. He may be a little too fascinated by them, and not guarded enough as he guides the team toward harvesting the dinosaurs' genetic material. His strengths are his compassion and enthusiasm, and hunger for the natural world, Bailey says. That's his brilliance, and that's also his downfall. Speaking of extracting DNA, the new film does this with Spielberg himself, who serves as an executive producer on Rebirth. To me, it's like a heist movie that meets all the films of Steven Spielberg I loved growing up, Edward says. The three films we were orbiting were Jaws, Indiana Jones, and the awe-inspiring wonder of the original Jurassic. Bailey's character channels Dr. Jones in one sequence set on a towering cliff when he tries to extract fluid from the eggs of some flying dinosaurs who are said to be the size of fighter jets. The egg is about the same size as the golden idol from the opening sequence of Raiders of the Lost Ark. The original script just referenced the nest in a cliff, and I really felt like we were in Central America, and I liked the idea that there was an old civilization here at one point, Edward said. Instead of a cave, he made the setting an Inca-style old temple that had been abandoned hundreds of thousands of years ago. Inevitably, the second you do that, you're suddenly going, this is very Indiana Jones. Bailey points out that the relationship between the three main leads mirrors another monstrous Spielberg classic about a killer shark. Much like in Jaws, you see how three people react to the same extreme level of survival, he says. His Dr. Loomis is like Richard Dreyfuss's bookish oceanographer, Johansson is the battle-hardened leader like Roy Scheider's police chief Martin Brody, and Ali's Duncan Kincaid, a black ops logistics expert who shepherds them into the island, has elements of Robert Shaw's grizzled seafarer Quint. That is his impression, but I appreciate Johnny's observation, Ali says. He's a film buff, a movie head, and he's always looking for the connections and pulling things apart and dissecting them. Ali may not have necessarily had Shaw's antagonistic anti-hero in his head during the performance, but there are undeniable parallels. Each has a hardened exterior while being somewhat wrecked inside. Kincaid is a guy who at this point in his life has chosen to live off the grid, Ali says. He's in Suriname, and he's somebody who has been a good friend of Zora's. He is always willing to help out when she needs something handled covertly. He's a good-spirited guy, but he's definitely been through some tragedy in his life. All in all, he's learned to live with his wounds, and he's learned making the best of the life that he has. The key to making a memorable human in big-budget, visual effects-heavy escapism is finding something intimate to put on screen alongside the bravado, Ali adds. Doing something this big is very new to me, says the two-time Oscar winner for Moonlight and Green Book. It's a little bit of a test for me personally. Can I exist in a space this large in something that is so much bigger than you and maybe your own specific talents? It's just hard to pull it off. I think the bigger things are, the harder that can be. But there were people in Jaws and in Jurassic Park, in Star Wars, and these huge tentpole films that resonated with authenticity and a certain truth and purpose that made those films worth watching again and again. His goal was to make Kincaid lovable to the audience. I was really going into it hoping to bring something special and buoyant to that character, to really bring an energy and heart to him, Ali says. These big blockbuster films, they're not filmed in a way that's necessarily going to set you up to feel that all the time, because it's so hard shooting these action sequences and running from a tennis ball and things of that nature. The worse things get on the island, the more relatable Kincaid seems. There comes this opportunity for him to evolve because they're having this life-in-depth experience. There are people around them that are passing away, and that provides some perspective shift. Passing away may be the most elegant euphemism for devoured by giant lizards that has ever been used. It's my polite way of saying that in this kind of movie, people die, right? Ali says, there's no draft of the film where everyone survives. So, there you have it. That's pretty much everything in terms of production that we have before the film that's set to come out in July 2nd. Let's start from the top. So there you have it. That's pretty much a whole little timeline of everything from somewhat of Dominion's release to the film's announcement to the trailer releasing last week. And as we get more info, I will be covering more with the new Jurassic chats, and I will have some more info on the next few Jurassic chats that are coming the past few years, which are more like a timeline for you guys. So stay tuned for those. All in all, this gets me really excited. I love some of the ideas that are being told to me. I want to say I'm completely sold, but I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm hoping for the best. Dominion kind of let me down in many ways. I kind of feel like I lied, because I walked out of the theater thinking I don't feel full. You know what I mean? It's like going to a fancy dinner and the food's tasty, but it doesn't fill you up. And that's how I felt with Dominion, and I kind of try and pull myself out of it by, posting and saying, I feel satisfied with this movie, it's okay, and all that, but I just did not feel that way about Dominion. There's just a lot of things I think should have been changed to make a much more appealing film for the Jurassic fan base. But that's what we got, and I am still optimistic for Jurassic World Rebirth and for what we could be returning to with the old feel, going back to basics and all of that. So I'm excited. I'm really happy to be covering Jurassic again, feeling excited for another Jurassic project, as well as Chaos Theory Season 3 coming soon. I still have not watched the first 2 seasons, which is insane. I'm so behind on that. But thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, and look forward to, or I'm hoping y'all look forward to the next Jurassic chats that are coming out. I've spent enough time filming this, so, and I actually have, I gotta go in a few hours to get fitted for a suit for my wedding. So, thanks guys for watching. Oh, by the way, let me step away from this for a second. Enjoy the collection. Kinda. Let me take this off, actually. I'm actually going to be doing a toy room thing later. See, there's like the bookshelf and all that. I got like a little bins full of old toys here. Got Nira in a very bare tank I gotta work on. Dreadnoughtus up there. All these toys up here. But I'm gonna be making a toy room video soon enough. Meant to have it out on my birthday, but just didn't come through. But quick little look at the toy collection. Thought I'd add that in here really quick. Kind of a little catch up. Got the day gecko there. Got a lot of stuff here. Got all these stuffies and all that. Webkins, remember Webkins? All that. That's my lighting source, guys. That's where I get my light. I've really got to get some lighting for this room. But and yeah, that's the couch. That's the thinking couch. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And stay tuned for more videos. And I got a lot to edit. So 10,000 subscribers, and I will be doing some reactions with the girls later today, hopefully.